Now she's in her stable after the training. Now she is capable of being alone in the stable now, without banging the doors and spinning around. I think this is quite good actually. Okay, this is the last session with the mare with separation anxiety, and I am going also to talk a little bit to the owners who are here now, and kind of just show them what I did to make the horse less anxious. And it's definitely, it's the leading is like number one. To lead the way and to have the horse taking a bigger path than yourself. That's going to relax the horse. And in the earlier videos you see how I ask her to go to the outside when she's on the inside. Yeah, there she's up in front of me. I do a turn, I can do another turn. Now she's behind me. Very easy. So now she stays on the outside from self. That's kind of her habit. And another big thing is the horse following your feet. So that when I stop, she stops, or if she doesn't, I ask her to go to work. So you have to kind of be a bit ready to respond accordingly to the horse. So now her feet didn't stop when I stopped. So then I just say, okay, you can continue going forwards, but that's when I put you to work. Yes, good girl. And this is the resting place. And immediately she stopped and I got a lick and chew, which is awesome. Yeah, so the first thing is the leading. Get the leading right. Be the leader. And the second thing is you can offer the horse to stand still, but you can't make the horse stand still. So now I'm offering her to stand still. But it's her choice. She can walk off if she wants to. And I think the third thing is definitely relaxation. And the fourth thing is that she can respond to signals. Like cross over behind when I move her hind end over, and move the front end over when I'm pointing. Preferably up my body language. But it's basically a whole lot of waiting around. And if I do too much of moving her feet, she's probably not going to see me as very nice and comforting, and not going to see me as part of her herd, because horses aren't moving each other around all the time. They're also standing and just hanging out together like we are doing now. But it would be nice to be able to catch her eyes. That's when she looked at me. So this is also becoming a whole lot better, that she isn't totally focused on the environment, but if I move a little bit, I get her attention without her becoming anxious. She's kind of looking at me and more or less relaxing. Yeah, this is actually very nice. The last session I did a whole lot of standing with her, and then she came into my space quite a lot. But every time she came into my space, I would send her out again. So I want this to be her resting place. She's standing on her own feet, relaxing. She's not depending on me to relax. Good girl, this was nice. Now she kind of took it as an invitation to come into my space. But I want to be able to rest her a bit away from me. Make that the resting place. And her relaxing, standing on her own feet. Yeah, there she looked at me again. Maybe we shall walk around a bit. And she crosses over behind in the turns, which is awesome. Now she's on the inside, so I ask her to go to the outside. And the way I ask her to go to the outside is by looking at her. And if nothing happens, I swing the lead rope. But I don't have to do that anymore. Because the leader takes the shortest path. And a horse will never go in front of somebody they respect as their leader. Because they wouldn't do that with a horse in a herd either. So now I think I wouldn't be able to get her in front of me even if I tried. And I can try again. So I stop my feet, and she eventually stops her feet. She's a bit on the inside, but she's kind of relaxing. So I think I will not correct it, but I just notice. Okay, she went a bit to the inside, no big deal. But she's kind of finding relaxation, and she's able to stand without me holding her still to stand still. We can do another one. But I think both the horses are a bit dependent on each other. So I think probably the other horse needs some of this training too. I stop, she stops. Very nice. Then I can send her to the inside and ask her to work a bit. So that's when I point. And I can send her like this. Without her becoming upset. So my first signal is pointing, and my second signal is waving the rope. She's actually starting to bend a little bit more in her body. She's not as crooked to the outside. And then I can ask her to stop by moving her hind end over and her crossing over behind, stopping, facing me, and standing still. And she's licking and chewing and, relaxing. Because now she also knows the groundwork. So I can actually use the groundwork to relax her. She's like, I got this. But I'm not making her stop, and I'm not preventing her from walking off, and I'm not holding her to stand still. If she walks off, we can do another round. And that's how horses learn to find their own stop. Which is also beneficial when you're riding, because then the horse is able to stand still when you mount, and also able to stand still on a loose rein when you stop. So standing still is not my responsibility, it's her responsibility. Yeah, if I move a bit, she looks at me. So although her attention is sometimes on the other mare, on the environment, it's very easy to get her attention back by moving. Like now she's looking at me. I don't get her attention back by bumping the lead rope or pulling on the lead. I get it by moving. And if I wouldn't get her attention, I would keep on moving until she looked at me and followed me. But she knows that I follow through with what I ask her to do. She crosses very nicely over behind now. And I think in the first video it's very apparent that she doesn't cross over behind. Now she's doing it more or less from self. And if I look at her, she goes to the outside. And if she doesn't stop when my feet stop, I can reinforce my feet stopping by wiggling the rope just a little bit. But if she barges through me and keeps on walking, I send her off. But this is really nice. She is much less concerned about the environment, things going on around her. She's much more focused on me, and you can give her tasks such as moving the hind end over or moving the front end without getting the horse upset and stiff. So if I get some kind of relaxation here now, a lick in a chew or a yawn or something, I would definitely just end the session. And put her in the paddock, and then she can be a bit alone in the paddock. Because I think separation anxiety isn't necessarily the separation anxiety, it's just anxiety in general that kind of overflows when the horse is separated from the body, from the friend. So by relaxing with her, her anxiety level will drop down and she will become more calm, and then it's easier for her to be alone in the stable. But I would definitely practice this a little bit. So with the two mares, I would feed them separately and then maybe have them together in the paddock without food and feed one in the paddock and the other in the stable and vice versa, so that they are more comfortable than being alone. And definitely practice the groundwork, so it's really good, so that you are able to calm her down if she gets excited on a show or during a clinic. Are there any questions? No questions. Okay, but I think I will talk a little bit about my own experience with my mare, because I've been through the same thing with my own mare, and she became very anxious when I took her to a clinic. And it was coming at my turn to ride. I paid lots of money to go to the clinic, I didn't show up to that riding lesson because I was still standing outside the stable trying to get my mare to relax and just standing with her until she actually eventually lied down and rolled. And afterwards, the riding instructor said, you know, you didn't show up to your riding class. What happened? I was like, my mare was very anxious. She was probably anxious because her friend was then somewhere else, and she was in a new place, and she was very worried. And I didn't think it was, you know, appropriate to go down and ride her, although it would maybe have been possible to ride her, you know. But I would then have had to hold her still to get to mount. I would have had to do a whole lot of things that weren't necessarily benefiting our relationship. But I think that I took the time. I think I stood there for hours. It was the middle of the winter. I was freezing cold. And finally, she stopped looking at the environment. She stopped neighing. And she just let down and lie down and rolled. And I think that I kind of did that with her and took the time it took. It really strengthened our relationship because she knows that I'm there for her somehow. But I don't think it's going to take hours with this mare. You know, now she's resting her leg. She doesn't seem very bothered by being here alone. She's almost like bored. But it would be nice to have a couple of letdowns, actually. Sometimes it's easier to get her to relax when I'm walking with her. So I can start walking, you know, she looks at me and she follows. So my first signal to start walking is to actually start walking. And my first signal to stop is to stop my feet. I'm not pulling on the rope. And by walking in front of her, I am the leader. She can follow and have comfort in following. So what we want with our horses is for them to be responsive and forward, but also relaxed. And if the relaxation is lacking, that's kind of the basis. Yeah, I have a lick in the shoe there. Good girl. And once you get that, that's when you can start to work more on the responsiveness and the forward. Because that's what I was lacking with my mare. And I think this mare now is kind of figuring out how to relax a bit on her own without her friend, and how she can respond to signals from the owner. So you can use this groundwork to relax her if she gets anxious and scared. But practice at home first. And what I haven't taught her is to move out of my personal space when I swing the lead rope around me. But I have a really, really good video about it on my blog that you can watch and teach her that. Because by teaching her this, you will learn how horses learn. Because horses, they don't learn from the pressure, but they learn from the release of the pressure. So when I stop doing something, that's when she knows she's doing the right thing. And teaching her to go backwards away from you when you swing the lead rope around you is a very, very good exercise. Yeah. But this is how you kind of get her going. I point, and if she doesn't move, I swing a bit towards her shoulder. There she's off. That's when I release and leave her alone. I didn't necessarily ask her to come into the middle. But you know, I can get her going. And this is how I move the hind end over. Over there, yes. So that she crosses over behind. Good girl. So I think it's easier to show how I move her off from this position than the position I was in earlier. But first I point, and then I step, and then I swing towards her shoulder. When she's off, I stop swinging. So like if you try to do this and she goes backwards, keep on swinging the lead rope until she goes forwards. Now she stopped, I point, she's off, I stop pointing. If I am pointing all the time, she will stop responding to it. So now I can get her a bit forward, so I point, nothing happens, I swing. When she's off, I stop swinging. And when I want to stop her, I look at the hind end, lean towards the hind end. She crosses over behind and finds her own stop. Yeah, good girl. And if I kind of move, she looks at me. I can catch her eyes. And I also think that she's looking at me and she doesn't become anxious when she looks at me. One thing is to be able to catch the horse's eyes. Another thing is, what is the horse thinking about when he looks at you? Is the horse thinking about commands? Is the horse thinking about treats? Is the horse thinking, oh my God, it's he again, you know? But, you know, she looks at me and she doesn't stiffen up or come forwards to get the treat. She just, okay, she looks at me and she's like, okay, you're there. And she licks and chews. Good girl. I think this is a nice way to end. You get a really nice mare. I'm sure you're going to succeed with this. Okay, thank you for watching. And good luck with her. You can do this. I know. What?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's not complicated, you know, you can do this, I'm sure. And by doing it, you're going to build a special bond and relationship with your special mare. Because she's a nice mare. And she wants to have you as her best friend, and maybe not so much the other horse.